2 legs completed, 8 to go. The world's toughest fully crewed sailing event has reached Cochin after its first ever crossing of the Indian Ocean. And after 2-leg wins out of 2, it's the pre-race favourites who lead the fleet. Torben Grail and Ericsson 4 are now 7 points clear at the top of the leaderboard. Their big budget boat and crew so far invincible in any conditions. Clinging to the wreckage are the Telefonica boats, 2nd and 6th overall, but beset by breakages.
Okay, we got it!
With luck and tactical savvy, 5-race veteran Bauer Becking nurses Telefonica Blue home for 2nd place.
We broke some sails, then we broke a deck aboard, and all the dramas were happening.
Fernando Echevari's Telefonica Black suffers the same fate, but play their stealth card to perfection to steal 4th. Puma's Il Mostro drops to 3rd overall after trailing in a disconsolate 5th. Ken Reed's men lose their swagger in the Southern Ocean after crashing off waves and cracking their hull.
We expect better of ourselves at the same time. You know, we expect to be on the podium.
4th overall is first-time skipper Ian Walker's crew on Green Dragon. They also receive a Southern Ocean shoeing, finishing 7th, boom in pieces and morale too in need of repair.
At the moment we're very disappointed.
5th and 7th on the leaderboard are Ericsson 3 back in contention after a slow start, and last-minute entry Delta Lloyd struggling for speed in a boat nearly 4 years old. But at least they're home. For Team Russia, the nightmare continues. Still at sea after a tactical gamble backfires, their food and patience all but exhausted.
I can only say that there is a finishing line up ahead.
Battle scarred, the fleet has reached Asia for the very first time. There are boats to bolster, injuries to heal. The countdown to leg 3 and the sprint to Singapore has begun. For over 600 years, the port of Cochin in southwest India has hosted trading boats from the Middle East, Europe and China. But it's never seen anything quite like the Volvo fleet's arrival, where the boats in 4th to 7th position finish in little over an hour, just 17 days after leaving Cape Town. The first of that group to reach the dock is Telefonica Black. Fernando Echevari's crew jumps 3 places in 12 hours to grab 4th in one of the boldest tactical moves of the race so far. Day 16, 2200 hours. Green Dragon is battling Puma for 4th place a few miles ahead of Delta Lloyd and Telefonica Black. Fernando Echevari and Roger Nilsson decide to enter stealth play and slip off the 3-hourly reports and into the night.
At certain times of the day, they can call into the duty office and say they want to play their stealth play, which basically makes them invisible from their competitors for a 12-hour period.
Having watched Ericsson 4, Telefonica Blue and Ericsson 3 take the podium places by moving inshore, the Black Boat's navigator too heads for the beach and keeps to the coast till dawn.
Daylight came, basically we could see at least 2 of them. And they could see us, presumably. So as we were only hiding from one boat, they could have followed us to the shore. They saw us, that we were close to the shore, but they didn't go there. And at one stage we tacked away from them, and we were out of sight, and we were having a much more westerly sea breeze than they had offshore.
Reaching directly for the line, Nilsson and colleagues emerge from stealth play on the morning of day 17 with a 7-mile lead over their nearest challengers, a stunned Puma.
I mean, we put them away on the horizon behind us. They were gone. Game over. Still, how they gained that amount of distance yesterday, none of us have any idea. And we only found out about it on the position report an hour out of here. So that last hour, you can imagine, was a pretty solemn, really solemn hour on the boat.
By noon, Echevari's men, by contrast, were jubilant. Still 6th on the leaderboard overall, their dramatic result keeps them within a point of Ericsson 3. Also holding 4th spot at one stage in the previous 24 hours was Green Dragon, which trails in 7th.
I'm tired, you know. I think I've had about 3 hours sleep in the last 48 hours. I'm pretty tired. I need a few days off, and there's plenty of fight left in the Dragon.
A 4th place finish for Ian Walker's men would have lifted them into 3rd overall ahead of Puma. Like the leg from Cape Town, their journey to the hotel in Cochin proves eventful and not without anxiety.
So this is very similar to the last 12 hours of our leg. So far we've gone round and round in circles 3 times. We've got stuck head to wind. Very strange going to a country when you've not gone by aeroplane. As you can see, the Green Dragon programme, no expense spared. No, we don't have to race. That's my mum and dad. We're really friendly with them.
Any brakes?
That's very similar to sailing downwind in a Volvo 70. You're not quite sure when you're going to crash. Anything you know is it's only a matter of time. They can't put them into the barrier. We did that to an oil tanker last night.
Oh my God, I thought we were going to die.
Easy, Tiger. Keep us steady, hold us steady. That's like the shudder you get when you get over 25 knots and you get the you know you're about to crash. There's something coming straight at us. There's a slight issue here. This is actually very good therapy. I've almost forgotten the race.
Good evening.
Thanks. Coconut. Very good.
Just what you need.
This is my first real food for about 2 weeks.
On Team Russia, food of any kind, like the wind, is in short supply. What's left is being rationed to allow for 8 more days. The minds of the crew might be racing ahead, but the boat is going nowhere.
This is when you get to see what's really going on, when they're all out of the water.
Among the issues being discussed in Cochin is the fragility of the appendages on the 2 Telefonica boats. On arrival in Cochin, Fernando Echevari reveals that, like its sister ship Telefonica Black, also broke a daggerboard during leg 2.
What kind of things can you fix on the move, or can the team fix on the move when they're racing? And what kind of things...
After a catalogue of breakages, including the rudder arms on Telefonica Blue and the bowsprit and a rudder on Telefonica Black, questions are now being asked.
A number of things about... I'd find it incredible if there weren't some kind of serious conversations going on about it. I mean, in Cape Town, they were talking about maybe a little bit of a hole in the performance of the boat in certain conditions downwind. I mean, that was a big enough revelation for a start. It's not often teams admit to that, but you know, the performance actually showed it anyway. So they've got that. They appear to have some issues with the structure of the boat and whether it's actually parts of it are actually strong enough or whether the sacrifices have been too great. And you know, all the time that's going on, the leaders, Ericsson, are slipping away, and I'd be amazed if there weren't conversations going on about what they were going to do next.
It's the apparent frailty of the daggerboards that is causing the biggest headache.
We're looking at building some new ones with a different manufacturer, and different manufacturers have different building methods, so by nature you go back and have a look at the design and the engineering, but like I said before, we're very confident with the engineering of them. You know, there's umpteen open 60s and 100-foot canting keelers around from the far office with the same design spec on these boards.
There is also speculation, among other options being considered by the Telefonica boats, of swapping their rudders in Singapore or Qingdao for a new design, a move that would incur a 3-point penalty.
Is this something you've discussed within the team?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's all You know, in Cape Town, you know, it's quite well known that, you know, there's some heavy yes running considerations with the boat, and it's one option that's been mooted and put on the table, you know, as discussion. I'm not going to tell you where that discussion led to, but you know, it's something that could definitely come up for discussion. Cagey enough for you?
It's not been a happy leg for Puma. Pipped for 4th and suffering damage of their own shortly after leaving Cape Town. In Cochin, Sydney Gavigné and media crew member Rick Depp are reminded there are harder ways to earn a living.
We've probably been doing this for 1,000 years. Very similar than the west on the boat.
Cochin's cantilevered fishing nets are said to have been introduced to the city by traders from the court of Kublai Khan, a reminder of its ancient connections with the Far East.
You catch some big ones sometimes?
Sometimes. Silver.
Big like what?
Yeah.
Big what? Like this?
Sometimes.
Rick used to be a bowman, you can see it straight away.
Who came the first from here?
It's a boat called Ericsson.
Ericsson.
Yeah.
Which country?
It's a Swedish boat, but it's people from New Zealand, England, and Brazil.
Yeah.
But don't speak about that with us.
Yeah.
It's painful for us.
Yeah.
I'm in India now, out of this race.
Yeah.
No? It's a beautiful race, but it's so good to be out of it as well.
Yeah.
I'm scared of this. What are you kissing? I love you. I love you too. I think I'm gonna stay in India. Hey, Jala. Hey, Jala. You see my hands?
Yeah.
Because of pulling on the boat, the ropes.
Yeah.
Same work. Show me your hands.
Yeah.
They're similar. Huh? Same job. The same as you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. 11 days, 13 days. 15 days, yeah.
But you know what? There's one team is still out there.
They're still sailing, and they have like maybe 2-3 days before they arrive.
Yeah.
Very hard, very hard. I feel the pain for them.
Team Russia are indeed still sailing, but they too have got caught up in the local colour.
What's happened, Mike?
We just went over a fishing net. Normally they have their nets out to lure to them, but his net was out behind him to windward. Yeah. I'm trying to get head to wind right now.
Getting the main down to slow down the boat so the fishermen can retrieve their net.
Andreas Hannekamp's men are still hundreds of miles from the finish line. Snagging a fishing net is the last thing they need.
Nick, did you try to get hold of them on the radio?
Yeah, we tried to call on the VHF.
Any luck?
No. We've been monitoring them for the last 10 or 15 minutes. We saw them quite close to leeward, but the problem is the net's floating net. So normally if you have a net like this, you have a light on the far end. But as you can see, there's no lights anywhere near us other than on there. So. Yeah.
These are gill nets. They're not good for whales and dolphins.
We're out in the water at the moment. We're just trying to attach a line to the fishing net so that we can pull it towards us, get some slack in the line. Got that end fixed as well. And then hopefully the net will drop down, or we can swim down and try and clear it around the bottom of the keel and the rudders.
We're going to cut the net and try and walk it around the boat, and if that doesn't work, we'll cut the other side and then drift away with a little bit wrapped around the boat and then try and clear that once we're out of here.
Got them? Yeah. Fishing boat trying to help us get unwrapped, made it worse and wrapped us up even worse. So we've had it sails down for an hour and a half.
I feel really sorry about cutting the net, but it was the only option.
In Cochin, Puma's shore crew finally clocks off for the day. Their priority is repairing the cracks in Il Mostro's hull, caused by 2 crash landings in the first week leaving Cape Town.
You're in the middle of a bass drum in these boats, and there's just smashing and crashing around you, but a tiny little pitch difference in a noise your brain gets trained for. And I just heard a tiny little pitch difference in one of the thuds, went running up forward with my headlamp on and looked down, and it's like, oh boy, we got issues.
2 longitudinals here are what failed. It was pretty much in the area from here through to about a metre aft of it, where the actual panels buckled down through this way here, like at an angle like that.
It didn't even dawn on me until after the fact. KP said, you know, we're closer to Perth, Australia than we are to India at this point. It's like, man, we're in the middle of nowhere. The first impression was, where do we go if this gets worse? Because it could have gotten worse. The second impression was, it seems like it's stable, let's get it fixed to at least limp home, then we can fix it to the point where we can still be competitive.
The situation under control, Il Mostro effectively returned to full speed, but negotiating the Doldrums again proved their undoing.
The last few days of this leg, leaving the Doldrums and getting to here was just awful. There's no other word. Every black cloud seemed like it sucked away your life.
Wow, we're not in a great spot here. The wind gods have not treated us kindly here right now.
Now that's one of the things we're looking at. We didn't do that well. Is it luck? Is it skill? Is it approach? It's something that we've got to get better at. If we're going to be competitive in this race, we better hurry up and get better.
With Puma's crew still hurting over 5th place, Team Russia's is just grateful to be arriving at all. More than 2 days after their nearest competitor, Andreas Hanekamp and crew finally reach Cochin, a distant but relieved 8th.
Sailing from Cape Town to India in this time, I think, is quite an achievement for everyone on board, and everyone did a great job in making it possible. Unfortunately, we got stuck.
Well, this is so exciting. We just had to make a break in our opening ceremony here in Cochin because Team Russia is arriving in the middle of the opening ceremony. What a great combination.
Always the noisiest.
From the Navigators Union, a few words of comfort for Wouter Fairbrack, advocate of the gamble that cost his crew so dearly.
Actually, we want to go further east. We couldn't
actually,
go east.
I saw that. I thought
you
maybe sort of
we got pushed west again by clouds.
By pressure, yes.
Fortunately, because otherwise we would be still out there.
It's so unfair. So unfair.
Anyway, well done.
How was the sailing in the Southern Ocean in the first part?
I was so concentrating on grinding and changing sails. It was like a completely,
It's fast, huh?
First 3 days I couldn't sleep, bumpy, and third day we broach in Chinese.
I saw the Chinese is on all the TV stations in the world. Don't worry.
We jump, and suddenly the boat nose diving, and it's like, and Steve was calming and saying Chinese, and the boom like. I'm really shocked. I did not expect, I thought it will be much calm.
How does that taste?
It's just the texture. It's not so much the taste. It's just something that sticks to your palate, something that doesn't go down like baby food. It's just fantastic. I mean, a lamb shank and maybe a pint of Guinness. This is brilliant.
She's going to kill me.
Next morning, Mark Cavell and Nick Bubb head across town. A recent haircut in urgent need of repair.
I want you to teach my friend how to cut hair, because he hasn't done a very good job. He did this. He did this to me.
Oh, it's not so bad.
Not goodbye, but.
So you could tidy it up a little bit? Good. Now please, my friend, leave something on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You see, I didn't have a pair of clippers on the boat, so, I mean, I think...
It's got
Okay.
here.
But we didn't have a comb on board either, you see.
Like this, no shake. Like this. See?
Can we make a carbon comb? Well, my last haircut was bouncing up and down, doing 17 knots on the back of a Volvo 70, with the feeling that Nick was in control, a slight snigger by the crew in the background, and I kind of guessed something was up. But certainly, as Nick says, that the conditions for a haircut on board a Volvo 70 is not ideal. I'm thinking of buying a wig. Great. Now that is a haircut. Now, if you think I'm going to pay for that, you've got another thing for me.
How much do I owe you for that then? 100.
Which is about 30 pence, I think.
Thank you very much.
So what do you think? What do you think?
I think you're the new poster boy, Mark.
Green Dragon's concern is the cut of their sails. New ones are being tested in anticipation of lighter airs on leg 3. And their new boom has been fitted.
It's funny it's having a boom again. I think it could be useful on this next leg. I'm only now getting a glimpse of just the pure number of fishing boats that there are in these waters. We'll see a lot of fishing nets. We'll obviously try and steer around them because it's not in our interest to get caught in them, and it's not in their interest for us to get caught in them either.
Do we have any luck getting the little Baywatch gas cans?
Phil's found a place in the UK, and I think he was hoping that Walker would be able to get them, but
I think you want to make sure that they understand the importance of that, because if it's a fishing net, you don't want these blokes going over the side to cut something free to save $500 on an air bottle.
Yeah.
So I guess the guy who makes the call not to bring it or not to get it, he can be the one diving over the knife of his gob like Tarzan.
Well, I mean, straight after.
Pretty dangerous.
You can buy these little single gas canisters that just has a little respirator, and you just chuck it on and turn it on, so you've got 10 minutes of air to go underneath the boat. Like the Hoff used on Baywatch.
There will also be 2 new crew members. Boat captain James Carroll replaces Tom Braidwood, who, like the boat's navigator, will be returning home to spend Christmas with his family.
At the beginning, I thought it'd be really easy, you know, just coming in, and now it's getting close to the time where I'm going to leave, and the boys are going to, you know, going off on the leg. I start to feel a bit more torn about the whole thing, and you know, we're making decisions about what sails to carry on the leg, and then I'm sort of saying, well, ultimately, you know, it is your decision, because I'm not going to be sailing this leg, and it is much more difficult than I thought it would be.
Hi, James. I'm very well indeed. Yourself? Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ian Moore's replacement is Steve Hales, a veteran of 4 previous campaigns, the last on board Neil MacDonald's Ericsson in the 2005 race.
Thanks for attending this Leg 3 briefing. We're just passing around a little bit of information based on the questions that were raised at the meeting we had on Monday.
One of the things that I felt quite jaded with in the race before was having done so much preparation for effectively the same leg. Like the first leg of the Volvo race, I feel like I've studied it for 20 years. So to come here and take on something really new actually was one of the attractions.
We will be giving you regular updates on the various risks as you're going along, so they'll be coming up from the duty office, so you should be expecting something daily.
Leg 3 takes the fleet through busy fishing grounds, round the tip of Sri Lanka, across the Indian Ocean and through the congested shipping lanes of the Straits of Malacca to Singapore.
We're in a challenging part of the world and a place that we don't know that well, and obviously, you know, there's a possibility of everything from a pirate attack to getting hooked up in fishing nets, and you know, all of those things present new problems. When you're in the open ocean, in the Southern Ocean, and you know, in the North Atlantic, those problems don't exist. So we talk about that as a team, and we've got to make sure we've got plans in place to deal with that.
These boats have a lot of things hanging down on the water, appendages and keels and rudders, and of course when you go through a net, it's not easy to get rid of them. So it's a very concerning factor.
I'm sure there'll be numerous cases of boats running into nets. We just hope it's an even playing field and everybody runs into the same amount.
Here we go into more piracy territory and fishing boats and nets and cables and drift lines and monsoons, typhoons, drifting, light up wind. All I know is I'm going to go back to all those weather charts and I'm going to tear it up, expect 180 degrees from exactly what we're planning, and I think we'll be all set.